All right, so I just brought these hive frames out and the queen excluder right here from inside. These frames have been stored, they were in the freezer. Um, I know people say like 48 hours, but hey, I go big or go home. And so I did about 2 weeks. Not to mention that life got in the way. And so 2 weeks was good as far as any type of moth activity. And then what I did, I stored them in a plastic container that actually has light shining through. So it was one of the clear containers. And I've watched them for the last couple weeks to make sure there were no um, moths or larvae or anything that came through. So at this point, these frames are good, in my opinion, because I'm still fairly new trying to figure it all out. But they're okay because any larva that was on them is now dead for the length of time that I left them in the freezer. So this is a hive that I painted, put together, all that good stuff. Just trying to make a space for the bees, and that's the little space that I left for them. But we had a lot of robbing going on, even when I fed them with um, the sugar water. There was still a lot of robbing going on, and being that I was not quite familiar with robbing and all of that, it was a weak hive, so um, that hive no longer exists. This is one that I was trying to do a swarm catch from, it was probably a month or so ago that someone asked me to please come get the bees, and I did, and I did not successfully do that. I mean, there was larva and everything, but I should have um, set up the empty frames with the rubber bands and the propolis and the honey so that those bees could thrive, at least, kind of pick up, because right now it's September and that was probably July. And so I probably could have gotten them saved. But, again, like I said, I'm the newbie and trying to figure it all out. Shame to say I'm not as newbie as it sounds. I mean, I've had bees for probably 3-4 years, but I now have help and I'm trying to figure out how to do everything to keep them healthy and surviving. And I prefer not to do a chemical treat. So I've actually joined a Facebook group that they don't treat. So, I'll just kind of keep an eye on that. My daughter wanted to do a flow hive, so she bought one of the imitation flow hives, and I figure the next swarm that we catch will go in hers. And actually, it's pretty cool. I do like the fact that they have where you can, on both sides, you can, open up the little door and let them in. But I do have this one set up so that it's only, I think I have 4 or 5 frames that are blocked off so that, if it's a small swarm, they'll be able to maintain what their little area. And then this one I am just kind of putting back together. I had a wonderful lady who gave me a bunch of um, boxes. She had gotten a little bit older and they had been on her property for probably 10 years, 15 years, and she wanted them to go to someone who would take care of the bees. So I'm, blessed and fortunate to have those. I painted them, and I'm just trying to get them all set up and um, make sure that they're set for any. swarms that I catch, and I'm grateful for her. I mean, she even gave me back in the day what they had for gloves and a smoker. Back then, I guess they didn't have the stand that the smoker sits on, so that um, anything that it sat on did not catch on fire. But it's all good. I built a stand for all of the hives. I'm trying to figure out my um, building skills, as you would say. But around in each of those containers, there is a little bit of oil, and around the containers is diatomaceous earth. I just need to make sure the ants stay out of my hive, because when I originally, actually, this is my original hive, and when I received some bees, I had no idea that the ants can be as aggressive as they are. And so I ended up losing this colony, but I then found them later under my storage container, which I did a trap out and put them back in. But, with moths and such, I learned, these are all lessons for me. I learned that you've got to either treat or downsize the frames so that the colony that's within the hive can maintain their their space. As long as it's small enough that they can protect it, they will definitely protect it. So I learned that the hard way. And then with this one, I just moved it forward. It was on the little area back there, because I keep the legs of the stand in oil. But, when you get busy and life gets in the way, you're not as diligent as you should be. And so there was this colony swarmed, didn't realize it, and we harvested some honey. We were excited, but then we realized that later on that we probably should not have harvested the honey, because this colony was under attack. So we now know, we have the education for that we will not make that mistake again. So as far as the next swarm that I catch or colony that I purchase, it will go in this hive. In the meantime, I brought some frames out so that I can finish off this hive. I'll put some deeps and some it will all be sealed off, because I don't want to deal with the robbing, being that everything at this point is empty. I don't want to deal with robbing, and so all of these will go into this hive, and I will probably take that medium super off. Technically, it should be my honey super, but when it's empty, you just need to make sure that when you do get bees, that this will be their feeder. I'll put a barricade in there, and they will just be able to feed from this top area and hopefully thrive. But thank you for staying in touch with me. I realized I had no idea that I had people who wanted me to do this YouTube channel. So this is what I'm doing, and this is just the bee portion of what I'm doing. I'm also doing a garden, as well as a tower garden, and just trying to motivate people to grow your own and eat your own. That is my motto: grow your own and eat your own. And that way we will never be hungry. We will not have to deal with the price gouging and whatever have yous of the grocery stores and the large like Walmart and Costco and so on and so forth. Grow your own and eat your own. You need to be self-sustainable, and um, that will work for all of us. Even if you have limited space, I will do another video on the Tower Garden, which will allow you to grow your own veggies in your own space. Anyway, it is September 9th and it's almost 7 p.m. and all my bees, or the bees that were, are very calm. So I'm able to work in this area and without any issue as far as stinging. But even when the bees were here, I would talk to them. They knew my voice, they knew my scent. They knew that I was okay because I was going to feed them or do whatever needed to be done. But yeah, I live in the country and this is how we roll. All right, have a wonderful Wednesday evening, Wednesday, September 9th, 2020, and be blessed. Alrighty, I'll talk to all of you soon. Thank you.